Good evening. I'm John Albertson, the lead developer of the solo mode of Perseverance Castaway Chronicles Episode 1 and 2. The solo mode was designed by David Tursi, and we're going to go over the solo mode, a few of the rules, do a playthrough, give you a general idea of what you can expect when you're playing the game. Something a little different is that what you're going to be doing is actually playing a 3-player game. It's going to be you versus 2 solo opponents. We call them the Dissenters. And what they do is they don't gather resources, they don't gain points, they don't gain votes. They are a thorn in your side, and they are naysayers. And if you don't protect them, they'll talk bad about you. So you have to outdo them. And to do that, you have to achieve 3 goals. The first one is you have to get at least 55 followers. That's your first goal. Your second goal is to score at least 40 votes. And the final goal is to keep settlements destroyed at 5 or less. And that's for the base level. We call it the squatter. There are different tiers of scoring, depending on how well you do. Depending on how many, obviously the more followers and votes you gain, the better you'll do. The fewer settlements destroyed, the better you'll do. So the game is mostly set up, but we're going to go over a couple things before we start to play. The first are we call them the Dissenter action cards. As you see, my lovely printed out cards here, which is a reminder that everything you see here is a prototype, except for the table. The board's a prototype, officers are a prototype, combat rewards are a prototype, the rules are a prototype. So, knowing Mind Clash a little bit, there's a good chance that yes, there's going to be some changes. Probably nothing real radical, but yeah, there'll be something different. Anyway, back to what we call the Dissenter action cards. Those determine what the bots will do. I'm going to start with these 2 cards, just kind of go a quick overview. The top line, that tells you the zone that the Dissenter will be taking an action in. The next row, you have the various symbols that you find on the dice. That's a dice drafting priority. We'll go into how it does that later. Then below that, you have what we call the primary action. So in the expansion zone, you will be taking a settle action. In the protection zone, you will be taking a fortification action. Below that, you have 1 or 2 secondary actions. Over here, you're going to place your leader in the community. Or you will place influence cubes in whichever officer has the least of its color. So we'll go into that later. Over here, they're going to try and influence the engineer. So what you're going to do with your Dissenter cards is you have a deck here, 14 cards. Shuffle those up. And get them randomized sufficiently. You're going to take the bottom 3 cards. Take the card that says Patrol and reshuffle. Shuffle those up. This way there's a little randomness, but we found that when you just put the reshuffle card anywhere, the game gets really random really fast and isn't a whole lot of fun. So here's what we have your Dissenter action deck. I'm going to set it right here, up above the Dissenter's board. So what's going to happen is you're the first player. So typically that would mean then the player to your right would get to choose first, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to go in order. How do we do that? Well, you're going to flip over the top card. So here, the yellow dissenter will be placing a settlement in sustenance. Whenever a dissenter places a settlement, it always chooses the bottommost spot. So in addition to placing a settlement there, the dissenter will place a influence cube on the chief mate. The golden snake. Well, look at this. Protection. So there we go. Protection. And on the chief engineer. And now to us. I think what we will do is, I think we're actually going to start over here in training. And we will start here on the chief of security. Let's roll up the dice. Now I like to sort these by symbol. Oh boy, that's a lot of hammers. I know they're not called hammers anymore, but I spent a lot of months calling them hammers. And it's a little late to change. Wow, look at that. Well, it's going to make it interesting. Alright, looking across the board. I will go over rules as they come up. Let's make sure we get the third card out there. So you know what's going to happen is that of the 3 cards that are visible, 2 of them will be used. And I'll go over how that happens during the dissenter's turn. Let's put these down so people can see. Alright, I'm up. And I think I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead right here. I will place a trampler and roll the normal die. Oh, and 2 more tramplers. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't build there. Pay 1 food and place a colored die. You know what? There's so many of these hammers. I think we will just keep going. Now with that, I get 1 point for each color or each player die of that color, so I get 2. Takes me up to 12. Alright, moving along. I just use this as a little token to remember who's who. With 3 players, it's easy to forget which is which. So here's how we choose what's going to happen. Flip over the top card. Look at the bottom. And you'll notice here how we will put this card, the leftmost card, into the red fist. Second card will go to the golden snake, and the third card stays in place. So what happens here? The dissenter is going to attempt to draft a die. Well, it likes to take that journal first. There's nothing there, no journal. The dissenters will always take a neutral die before their own color, and they will take their own color before the other dissenter's color, and the other dissenter's color before they will take yours. Alright, so we've established that there is no journal, but there is a neutral hammer. So we're going to take the neutral hammer, we're going to go over to sustenance, and here it's rations. The dissenter always places in the topmost available spot, so in that case is right here. So we know he's going to get a trampler and roll it up. So there'll be 2 tramplers. The dissenter does not get resources. So let's look to the secondary action. And it says here, place 1 light and 1 heavy soldier in the opposite zone. Okay, so what does opposite mean? Well, literally, follow the arrow. Go to the other card. So we're going to put a light and a heavy soldier in protection. How do we place these? Well, you typically place a light soldier first, and light soldiers always prefer Valor. But a light soldier will always check to see if there's a slot that has 1 or 3 potential dino spots. So here we go on the 1. He's covered. Place the heavy soldier. The heavy soldier prefers being in Safeguard. And they will go in a spot that either has 2 dino spots or 3. And the 3s will come later. So he's going to take the first one available because there's 2. All right. He's in good shape. No dino attacks. Moving on. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, now we move to the protection zone. Well, we certainly don't have to worry about hammers. Once again, they go into the topmost spot. Excuse the bugs here. So it's going to place a Trampler and a Raptor. Topmost spot. And it's going to attempt to build a wall and a trap in the zone with the most of its own settlements. Okay, well, it's pretty easy. He only has 1, so he's going to protect there. Trap goes in the first open area. And the wall starts from left and goes to right. It will attempt to influence an engineer. So you're going to take your threat die. You're going to roll it. Now here it says 1 to 3. You place 1 cube, and 4 to 6 you place 2. It's changed. It's actually 1 to 2. You'll place 1 cube, and 3 to 6 you'll place 2. Okay, a 5, so that means he'll place 2 cubes, and we'll do that in the engineer. Look at that. Everything's lining up. That's a nice combination there. All right. That descender's done. We'll move the current player token. You fill up like so. And move on. All right. So we need to start thinking about protecting. So we're going to go here. And I know it's a sure thing. I don't want to get too risky yet. So we got Trampler and Rattler. So here we have up to 3 actions. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take that free light soldier. I'm going to spend a modern resource to get a heavy. I'm looking up here. So could go into sustenance. Could go into protection. Could go into training. No, I think I want to protect myself a little bit, but I'll just wait one moment. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead. It's a secondary. Well, no, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to place a light and a heavy. I'm going to put the light here and a heavy here. So that gives me 1 safeguard, 1 valor. And then as my secondary action, I'm going to place 1 influence on the steward. Okay. Forgot to discard these. It's all right. Okay, flip the top card. Okay, so the card on the left goes to the red fist. Middle card isn't used this turn. Card on the right goes to the golden dragon. Or, excuse me, golden snake. So what does that do for us here? So we have sustenance. Wants to take a journal first. There isn't one. But there is a backpack. Oh, there's 1 spot available. So it's going to take that. It's going to roll the normal. And we get 2 tramplers. Oh my. I smell the food. So now we have here, it says increase color die, which is basically a politics. So just take the color die over in your hand. So first it's going to look in the dice pool to see what it can take. Well, there's no journal, but there is a backpack, so we're going to go there. we'll place a leader in the community area. Okay, so we're going to place a leader. Where do we look? What community area? Well, it's going to go to the opposite, so it's going to go to training. Oh, you stinker. All right. Getting close to a dino attack. They might need some help. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, training. Well, the blue, it has a blue as the megaphone, but it's always going to try, like I said, take the neutral die first. So it's going to come over here. It takes the topmost, so you know it's going to be at least a raptor. It's going to be a raptor and a trampler. All right. It will perform a standard deployment of troops. Well, at this level, a standard deployment is a heavy and a light, and it will put it in the zone that has the most of its own color as far as settlements. All right, so it's going to look over here. Now, the light soldier could go here, but that's what's going to happen. It's going to place the heavy soldier because there are 2 spots available. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Right now, each spot is defended. So you have a heavy soldier who could protect those 2. You have a light soldier who can protect the 1. You have another heavy soldier who can protect these 2. When a zone is defended, that means there are enough soldiers to cover all available dinos. You do not count walls and traps. So now what do I do with this leftover soldier? Well, look at the opposite zone. Sustenance. So you're going to check out the sustenance zone. You know, they could use some help. So we're going to put the light soldier in the single dino spot column. All right. It will now attempt to influence the chief mate. Oh, rolls a 1, so it only puts 1 influence on the chief mate. Okay, any dino attacks? No, but they're really close. So we're gonna do that. And now look, next turn we know training and protection. Well, we know protection's covered. I really do want to take care of us. Our supplies are kind of limited. So I think what I'm going to do is take a die of my own color, place it here. It's like, I know it gives us a trampler, and well, actually it doesn't matter because that was the last spot. So that fills it up. So I'm going to take my light soldier. No, I think I'm actually going to give up that to get a story. And as a third action, for a third action, I'm going to convert these 2 lights to 2 heavies. Oh, I like that patrol. Anyway, okay, there's that. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and place my leader as my secondary action. Okay, now we trigger a dino attack because all their spots are filled. We have no traps, we have no walls. So it's very simple. Heavy soldier takes out 2 tramplers. This trampler gets taken out by the light soldier. Maybe they're just tranquilized or put to sleep. Now the leader takes out the 2 raptors, and leaders cannot be killed, so that kind of worked out nice for the green team. Okay, so in that breach, there wasn't a breach, so you get all 6 grateful citizen tokens. Oh, I didn't take my 2 safeguard. So what's going to happen here? Well, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to spend 2 safeguard to do this. Place a settlement here. I'm just gonna go, I'm actually gonna go here. Yep. I'll spend one safeguard to take a light soldier. And I have one valor left. No one died. That'd only be 3 points. You know what? I'll hold on to my one valor. And that'll be it for combat. So what happens here? The raptors get picked up. That gets removed. Tramplers get put away. They all go home. But they all go home safely. They did their job. They came home at the end of the day. And finally remove that. Alright. What was that? Didn't move the token. Didn't forget to skip my turn. Alright, moving on to the dissenters. Okay, we're looking at the bottom. So the left card's going to go to the golden snake. Middle card's going to go to the red fist. Third card's not used this turn. Okay, so in protection, let's see, yellow. He's going to try and take a hammer, okay? Only player colors are left, so it's going to take the hammer, go to protection and fortifications. Boom. Place a trampler. And what's it going to do? It's going to build a wall and a trap in the zone with the most of its own settlements. Okay, so there's only one spot there, so that makes it easy. And we'll put the wall there. Okay. Then we go to the second. It will perform a deployment of soldiers in the opposite zone. So it'll take a light and a heavy. All right. So here, simple enough. There's a 3, so it'll take it. Here's a 3 that's not defended. So now they've got that column defended. And no breaches or no attacks. Moving on. Okay, training. So now there is one blue die, and that's what it wants. So we'll place it there. We will put a trampler into play. It's going to perform a standard deployment of soldiers. So that means it's going to go where it has the most of its own settlement. Its own. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. So it's defended. I talked about this earlier. They've covered all the available dino spots, so we're not going to put any more soldiers there. So what's going to happen is you look at the opposite zone. Well, it was here. Opposite zone would be protection. Okay, it's not going to put it there. Go to the next zone to your right, which in this case would actually be sustenance. Okay, so by the rules, it's going to skip this spot first because there's a wall. All right, so then you're not going to place a light soldier here because there are 2, so the heavy will go. And then you look at the light. Okay, well that's covered, that's covered. That only leaves one spot, it will go there. Since the whole zone is not defended, it still has to place there. And its secondary action, it will place a wall and trap in the opposite zone. Oh, that worked out pretty well. So we put it in the first available, and we place a wall. Okay, no breaches, so we discard. Now there's sustenance. Expansion, okay. Well, I've got a pretty firm grip with 3 presents there. Play here, there's a chance that I get attacked, but there aren't any. Who's he wants it? Well, you know, I think we're going to go over here and go to the patrol. I got a lot of guys sitting over there, and they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. Oh, so we get a raptor. All right. So I take the patrol card. Now I have to assign soldiers to it. I have 3 heavy and 2 light. Yeah, you know what? Are we going to do takesies, backsies? No, we'll stick with this. Alright, so I'm going to actually put 2 heavies and a light on there to cover. I will place, do I want to place my leader? If I place a leader, I can get an expansion, but well, you know what, let me risk it. I'm going to go here, place my leader here, and hope that I can win that. I'm actually going to go ahead and take social aid since I have no resources to pay for anything else. So I will take a modern resource and a food. Okay, so now up there we have a battle. So let's see what's under here. Hey, it was a raptor. So we roll the trap die. And it takes it out. I'm just gonna put that right here. It takes it out, and it would get 2 followers, but they don't care. Okay. Now for the wall die, for the yellow wall. So I'm pretty sure that was the only trap. Yeah. Oh, nothing happens. Gain a follower. No, it doesn't. Okay, so then looking at the battles. So here, they line up. The light soldier takes out the 2 tramplers. The heavy takes out those. All right, look at that. Thank you. When there's been a fight in a zone, all the center soldiers go back to the general supply. I'm gonna remove that. Remove that. Well, that worked out pretty well. Keep those out. Okay. Wow. Got lucky there. Moving on. Okay. This card stays put. Middle card is going to go to the Red Fist. Card on the right goes to the good old Golden Snake. Okay, expansion, politics action. Okay, there's only 1 die left. Now here, it can't go there. There's nowhere legal for it to go. So it's going to look at the same zone, go to the next action. Well, it is available, so it would place it there. Now, for poos and giggles, let's say there was a die there, then it would come down to here to try to place. If these were all full, it would move to the next zone to the right. Okay. So it's going to place a dino based on where it placed the die. However, and this is important, it will always take the action that is on the card. So use this where it placed the die to assign the correct dino, but it will still use the action that's on the card. All right. So here there are no dice in the pool, so it's going to look on the board. Where's it going to look? It's going to look in protection first because it's the opposite card. And in draft order, there's one available. Well, so it's just going to swap out that hammer. And there we go. It will now attempt to influence the chief steward. And it drops a couple. Oh, you stinker. Not happy about that. All right. Check for dinos. Nope, no attack. And now all the dice are gone, so we enter our first assembly. So break out the assembly card. So I'll take these. So let's go over here. Okay, sustenance zone is a tie. So what happens when there's a tie? We basically split the votes. So it's 1 plus 3. I'm sorry, no, this is 1 plus 2. So that'd be 3 votes, but it's cut in half. Essentially 1 vote. Okay. Next zone over. Green is in command. Woo! So that's me. Over here we have another tie. It's 1 vote because of that. And over here it's not us. So now I have to decide. Now that would be 4 votes. And we need votes. But if you notice over here, for the solo assembly, the number of votes you get in the first assembly, it's your votes times 1. Not great. The next assembly, though, you get 1.5 times your votes. So if you somehow caught 10 votes, you'd get 15 total. And finally, the third assembly is twice as many votes. So I'm in training. You know what? I really like those soldiers. I like the flexibility it gives me. So I'm just going to go ahead and take 2 soldiers. Just want to double check, because I've been working a lot on episode 2. Yep. All right. Officer scoring. We don't worry about this one because it's only dissenters and they don't score followers. Over here, I have influence with a security officer, but I only have a patrol, but it's not completed yet. All right, the chief steward has more influence than I do, so I get half of the reward. So I have 2 color dice and 2 settlements. So I normally get 3 followers, but get down and it's rounded. No, that can't be right. 19. No, I went up to 11, 12. I should be at 13. Normally they have dials, but I'm running out of space, so I just use the D10s. Alright, so there we go. That's a first assembly. And wrap up. So we're going to have all the leaders. We'll go back. And all the dice will get picked up. Whoops. And we will give them a roll. Okay, so there's the first assembly. We'll take a quick break and come back for the second and third.